In this video, we are going to be talking about the next exponent property, and this is the power rule. This is what I like to call a power to a power. So I call it that way because there's only one base and two powers. Okay, I'm taking this quantity that has a power to another power. The rule says that if I have a base being raised to an exponent and then that whole quantity being taken to a power, we multiply the exponents. Again, the question is why? So let's look at this example here. X cubed, that whole quantity to the fourth power. So what does it mean to take this x cubed to the fourth power? It means I would take x cubed times times itself 4 times. Right? Everything in the parentheses times itself 4 times. And we just learned the product rule that says we would add these exponents. So we're multiplying quantities with the same base, raised powers. We add the exponents. So 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, if I didn't say that one, would be x to the 12th. So how do we get from here to there without expanding it out? We multiply. We can see that 3 times 4 would give me 12. Now don't confuse this with 3 to the fourth power. I'm not taking 3 to the fourth power. I'm taking x cubed to the fourth power. So we end up having whatever's in the parentheses times itself 4 times, which is why we can do 3 times 4. Alright, so we just have to remember that when we are taking powers of things in parentheses, we have to take the power of everything in that parenthesis, including the coefficient. Okay, everything in there is getting that exponent. First example, x to the 5th to the third power. Again, we can just multiply. 5 times 3 is 15. X to the 15th. Y cubed cubed. We multiply. 3 times 3 is 9. So y to the 9th power. Now we're throwing in coefficients. Everything in there is being cubed. If it helps you, you could write it out as 2c times 2c times 2c, and you'll see that 2 is being cubed. I have 2 cubed times c cubed. Everything inside that parenthesis is traveling 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2 is 8 c cubed. Next example, I have negative 5 times x squared times y. That whole quantity is being squared. So everything in there has to be squared. Negative 5 has to be squared. X squared has to be squared. It's all traveling twice. You do not have to write it out. You don't have to expand it out like that, but you do need to make sure you square everything inside that parenthesis. So negative 5 times negative 5 gives us positive 25. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th power. And y times y would be y squared. And you can see here, using that power rule, 2 times 2 would give us the 4. And this was y to the 1st power, so 2 times 1 would be 2. Go ahead and try the examples on the right. First example, on the right-hand side, x squared to the 4th power. Use the product rule. It says 2 times 4 would give me 8. So we have x to the 8th power. Again, this tricky one with the base, which is a number. It says 2 to the 4th power to the 5th power. So 2 is now a base, not a coefficient. I can use the product rule and take 4 times 5 and get 20. So now this is 2 to the 20th power. Don't try to multiply that out. That would be huge. We're just showing that we understand that product rule, or power rule. Next example, now we have a coefficient. I have 4ab to the 4th to the 5th power. So again, that would mean everything in there is being written 5 times. So I'm taking 4 to the 5th power, a to the 5th power, b to the 4th, to the 5th power. Everything is getting the 5th power there. Now 4 is a base here, or sorry, a coefficient here. So in reality, we probably should multiply that out. So in general, if it's a base, we usually don't multiply it out unless we're asked to totally simplify it or evaluate it. Here, this is a coefficient, so we're going to go ahead and multiply that. So 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 is 1024. And this was a to the 1st power. So 1 times 5 would be 5, a to the 5th. And lastly, b to the 4th to the 5th, we multiply 4 times 5 and get b to the 20th. Last example, negative r to the 6th times s, that whole quantity, to the 4th power. Everything in there is being taken to the 4th power, including this negative. If I had 4 negatives, does it end up positive or negative? So if there's 4 of them, it should end up positive, right? And then with r to the 6th, we multiply 6 times 4, we get r to the 24th power. Sorry, that's a 4. And then this is s to the 1st, so 1 times 4 gives us s to the 4th power. And again, that negative is gone because there was 4 of them, and so it's going to end up positive r to the 24th times s to the 4th.